Welcome to Bone Chills.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Demoncula here. We've always wondered what lies in the dark. We've been afraid of it since the day we were born. But we always wonder to ourselves, do we have the courage to see what actually is behind the dark curtain? Well, I'll tell you what, Charley Brewster and Peter Vincent have an act for this. See how they do against the undead in Fright Night. Let's take a look. Tonight, we're back to staking vamps and taking names. This is Fright Night. From Tom Holland, no, not that Tom Holland, but director Tom Holland, who would eventually go off to direct Child's Play. Anyways, let's get to the movie. Charley Brewster is a high school kid who loves horror movies. He's always watching the classics on a show called Fright Night, hosted by horror movie star Peter Vincent, played by the original Caesar from Planet of the Apes, the late Roddy McDowall. One night, Charlie happens to see his new neighbor, Jerry Dandridge, getting comfortable with a date. But Charlie witnesses that Jerry is actually a fiend of the night. And Jerry knows that Charlie knows.
What's he doing here?
I invited him over for a drink.
What?
From there, it's a game of cat and mouse as Charlie preps to defend his loved ones, while going as far as to enlist the help of Peter Vincent himself.
If this is your idea of a joke, I am not amused.
This is a true gem right here. It takes a page from Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window, and I'm all for it. Having a murderer live next to you is one thing, but a vampire, now that's a whole nother story. The movie does a great job at making you feel Charlie's fear. He knows the classic vampire lore, but he's not an experienced vampire hunter, so it comes off as both comedic and terrifying when you see him take extreme measures to prevent himself from getting bitten.
You can't murder a vampire, Amy. They're dead.
The pacing is right on point. The movie knows not to rush everything all at once. It has its horror sprinkled throughout the first two acts to keep you satisfied, but wanting more. It all builds up to a finale that's both epic and scary, and goes full force from switching the quiet suburban life to a gothic nightmare. The characters in this movie are all great. William Ragsdale is very likable and charismatic as Charlie. You can't help but feel bad for him whenever nobody believes him.
He's a vampire. I saw him in that room last night and he had fangs and he bit her on the neck.
Chris Sarandon does a great job at playing our movie monster, Jerry.
Hello, Charlie.
He comes off as a charming individual, but when the gloves are off, he's a vicious, sadistic, bloodthirsty beast.
You have to have faith for this to work on me.
Roddy McDowall plays the part of Peter Vincent, with class and vulnerability. Remember, he's not a vampire hunter. He's an actor who played one.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Amanda Bierce is lovable and sympathetic as Charlie's girlfriend Amy. She's the damsel in distress of the movie, and you root for Charlie to save her.
You promised you wouldn't let him get me.
And last but not least, we have Stephen Jeffries bringing the part of Evil Ed to life with the presence of scary, wild energy. He's the wild card of the movie.
Here's dinner's in the oven.
In most vampire movies, there's usually a badass hunter who's an expert on the lore, so you have that sense of security. Fright Night is a movie where our protagonists are well versed in the lore, but Charlie and Peter are just ordinary guys who are in over their heads. But at the end of the day, it's either kill or be killed. As for the special effects, they're nothing short of fucking spectacular. You have a mixture of gross, disgusting, and downright nightmare-inducing. It's a testament to how epic practical effects truly are. If you've been searching for another vampire classic to watch, then look no further. It pays tribute to the classic lore, amazing special effects, memorable characters,
Let's go around the back and sneak in.
and most importantly, vampires are scary. Be sure not to miss out on this one, because it kicks some serious blood-sucking ass.
Welcome to Fright Night.